Ziggity Zig, back with more Tales from the Ladders. The game sent in to us by that guy Griff of Lime Not Lemon fame. He's going up against the Terran player down here in the bottom right of Foxtrot Labs by the name of Mimir. And I was going to go with Mimir or Mimir or something like that, but I think Mimir is the first thing that my brain went to. So Griff going as Protoss here, and this is a gold game actually. Griff getting promoted over to a Gold League. So there we are. Now we're both over in Gold League, and I think pretty much if UCMOP were to enter into the 1v1 ladder, I'm sure he would eventually get past his neuroses and start entering into the ladder game. So here's Griff having a little wander around and choosing to be a little bit of sneaky sneak. So we'll see what happens here, as Mimir is putting up his supply depot just there at the front. Griff is going to sneak in. Mimir sees this, and it's all... alright, well, I need to go out and figure out where he is. So he gets found... No! Oh, he doesn't quite get found? Yeah, okay, there he is. So he does find Griff out here at the edge. So now Griff needs to mineral walk his way through here. There we go. Gets the mineral walk out. Which means that he can move through the unit, because otherwise he's blocked. If you know what mineral walk is, just look it up. But if you right-click on a mineral patch, then your worker will walk through other units. It won't walk through buildings, but it will walk through units. And then just steals some crystals and heads home. Basic, one barracks. There's no gas. It's not going to be a Reaper expand or anything like that. It might be a multi-racks up here back at the base. Griff is just working on his basic gateways now, getting up towards the realm where he's going to decide on whether or not he wants 1 or 2 gas. But really, what he's choosing to do here is fake out Mimir, what did I say? And put down the proxy pylon, which is a pretty sweet maneuver, and that is possibly going to be, depending on how many gases we see here, 1 gas thus far. The Cyber Core isn't going to be in just yet. Couldn't tell whether that was a 12 gate or a 13 gate. I'm sorry, I'm not quite that good. Mimir is deciding not to sneak down here on his little extended path. Not going to steal gas or anything like that. Griff is not looking at a... Nope, there he goes. He's going to go with a Cyber Core and no unit. So he can basically take care of this because that is just the SCV. Meanwhile, back in Mimir's base, what we've got going on is a second barracks. And just the 1 gas right now. So possibly looking at hoping to get a first Reaper out. No, I'm going to go with the Marine. So that's, that's the thing. Oh, there we go. Mimir does decide to go with that. So now Griff does not know what's going on. It moves his way back, and then he decides, oh, wait a minute, I should check on my little sneaky base thing. And... oh! The A move does gain vision of Mimir's unit out there, but for whatever reason it was not quite within her... So it did catch up on the sight range, but did not catch up on the range of the unit. And now... Griff still wasn't able... I think he did an A move out to the corner once again, and still nothing. Oh my god, this is like a game where Griff does this and I'm just sitting out there on the back. Now granted, as a Terran, there's not too much you can really get away with over there other than just easy scouting information. Getting the 2 gas there, no proxy Stargate out here at the front. Now we're getting reactor and lab, so it's going to be Marine Marauder. No expansion just yet. Griff's sitting down at the bottom of the ramp, moving out a couple more, another stalker's heading down there. There's a second gateway. Griff having a look at his probe right here, but still not boosting this Cyber Core for whatever reason. Not quite sure why not, but I don't know. Must have a better reason. And there we go. Mimir is realizing that he can't really do much so far as a full-on attack just there. So he's just going to get in another scan just to see if he can see any kind of tech. He's double gateway, so he knows it's not going to be too fast of a Stargate or a early Robo or a didn't really scope the expansion, so he wasn't able to check on the second location. But the army supply is now in Mimir's advantage right now, and he does decide to move across the base with this contingent of units. But Griff is still not getting that boosted. He's deciding to boost units instead, which is actually probably a pretty hot maneuver, though he does not know how many units are crossing the field towards him. He is just trying to get his units down here towards where there's going to be an eventual 4 gate, because he's got another 2 gates on their way in, but now they actually just pass each other right here in the middle. Griff now knows that there's an army down there. Is going to move. Yeah, it's a bit late now, but the problem is that it might lose the mothership. Nope, is going to be able to sneak the mothership core out of there, but meanwhile, Mimir's units are getting slightly caught out of position, and they're now moving as one army That guy Griff is taking out a couple of Marines, but he's going to lose. Probably going to lose both of these Stalkers here unless he can move this one out really, really quick. But no, he gets hit with the concussion shell, which was the tech that Mimir was working on. And now the army supply is looking really bad for that guy Griff. He's warping in just a couple of Zealots right now. He does have quite a lot of money, but those two... Oh, there we are. Okay, so there were two up the back. I was looking at this thing. How come he's still only on just two? Mimir sees this, does a scan to see if there's anything else beyond this, but no, it does not look good, and now that would have been a good time to have a force field up at the top of the ramp. Griff is probably kicking himself for not being quite able to. Why are you not moving in? Oh, because he's worried about that photon overcharge. So during the photon overcharge period, this is when Griff can start warping in a bunch more units, and it's just kind of a trickle in right now. It's still no factory whatsoever. This is a solid Terran player where he's just coming in here with more units than Griff can deal with, hopefully. Now, once he times out this particular photon overcharge, which is still in operation, now he's going to block them out and take out this set of units with no Guardian Shield, but that should still be enough magically. Yep, we've got the Stim Pack. He's on the way, just having started. But Mimir does not bring up the second set of units and just leaves everyone totally split in half. And now... that was a really good engagement, and now Mimir is in quite a bit of trouble, because Mimir still does not have a factory. Griff's going for the forge to start getting +1. Just a basic 4-gate to move its way out, gets a number of more units down here, so the Zealots pipe down at the front. He's going to have to come up this ramp over here. Mimir's deciding to expand behind this. That's an interesting decision, whereas you have to expect to be hit defensively, and you've really only got... no factory? And you're topping up your supply depots? What is the story here? This guy is making a lot of really odd decisions. I mean, the defense of the bunker, yes, that's an awesome idea, but a little late. You probably wanted to be doing that quite a little ways ago. Griff also taking an expansion, so now it seems the army supply is still in Griff's favor. The problem is Griff has no idea what's going on in Mimir's base and needs to move out his army just to have a look and see what was going on down here. But the problem is that he has got essentially two small armies in two different places. Oh no, okay, I was just checking around for the mothership core. It is still there. Mimir now getting a little bit of a scan off on that, and now does see that is some hot information, because he gets to see that there's most of the army right there taking an expansion, so Mimir can continue on just macroing up, building a few things, hopefully getting that. Where's that factory? There's still no factory on the way, and Mimir's deciding to move out again. I don't fully agree with any of this, so he's just decided, oh, I know exactly where his army is, so I should totally move out. Really, what you should be doing is going to the factory and getting medevacs as fast as possible, because medevacs are what are going to win you this game, because Bio doesn't win without medevac. I'm sorry, especially going up against Protoss. And the current army supply right now, thus, despite the fact that there are 5, 6 Zealots down there at that one base, this is not enough to crack this, but Mimir really does think that it is. He's going to come in here, stim, interesting. He's going to stim without the medevac support. Photon overcharge kills everything else. Here are 4 more Zealots on their way in there, and that is going to, once again, wreck this army. I don't really understand this. And then here comes some Zealots. They're going to move in here and catch a few of these units a little bit out. Oh, a little bit out of position. But what Mimir does there is he moves the one Marine that was pretty much doomed away from everything, turns the 2 Marauders back, builds 2 more bunkers here at the front. No gas just yet. Because of shells are knocking out these Zealots, and now the problem here is that the Zealots, he's going to try to get at these workers, but I'm not sure how many workers killed he's going to get to here. 1, 2, that's a decent kill, but in the meantime, Mimir tries to move his army up here once again, but no, Griff's forces back in his main base are just too high, because for whatever reason, I mean, did they ever finish the... Did he finish it? Nope. Still no factory. I am flummoxed. Has not spotted this pylon down here, and Mimir's just going to move his troops back. He's pretty well outgunned, but if you take a look at the income tab, they're fairly similar. It's just that I think Griff is doing a better job at spending his money, and he's getting the gas at the same time. I mean, 2 base, 1 gas right now is Mimir, because he's not worrying about the tech just yet. Griff's working on +1 armor at the moment. I think they've already got +1 attack. Yep, he's already got the attack. So no engineering bay, no factory, no other buildings at all. There's the engineering bay, but still no factory in order to start getting... Nope. There's the factory in order to start getting out some medevacs. This game could have been won a couple of times from now, but now all Mimir is going to be doing is just turtling in. So what I would expect is to see a tech lab on the side of the factory, and once the tech lab has complete, we're probably going to see some tanks and just sort of turtle in, go in for the long haul. What we got now is it's a Twilight Council and a robotics facility that is just finishing up there. A number more gates, so Griff moving up to 2 base comfortably. Quite comfortably. You've got a really solid hole on this. The only thing you might want is just a little, maybe some... pylons or a little bit of vision out here at the side. That's probably what's going to happen here with these observers coming in. So it's still not really moving outside of their base right now, and especially not moving outside of his base is Mimir's, staying right in here, does not even know how close this proxy pylon is, and to be honest, no, okay, so if the proxy pylon were maybe, no, you can't get it close enough to actually warp inside the base, I don't think, even if you put it there, that you might be able to get a couple right there, but even so, you'd just be able to run your ramp around. Run around your ramp, run your ramp around. Round, round, get around, ramp it around. Here, Twilight Council, woo, getting some charge. We got some charge, and no sign of a Twilight Council just yet. But with the Twilight Council down, we can now start working on +2. So here is the observer. He's just going to kind of park off the corner. Griff is going to have to take a quick look and just try to find out if there's anything going on here. He does have a number of sentries that have enough energy to have a bit of a hallucinated phoenix look at things, because really, if you look at Griff's vision of things, he still has not even seen the tech inside of Mimir's base, and there's the tech lab going on there, and there is command center reactor, so I think, no. So he moved the factory over to start getting out the medevacs, not worrying too much about the tanks, which is awesome. Not worried too much about that, but a whole lot of barracks right now, and then there are some more supply depots, so still just trying to ramp up with a whole lot of Marine Marauder medevac. It's just really late, 16 minutes in, and just Marine Marauder medevac. And now what Griff is doing here is slowly working the kinks out and getting a little bit of tech out of the Forge and getting some Immortals out right now. Not too worried about Colossus just yet. Can probably afford the Colossus, the Robotics Bay. Robotics Support Bay? I think it's just Robotics Bay. Getting double gas on both of these. There's yet another Immortal on its way down the stairs, so just onto 3 base is probably a good way to start comfortably boosting out a whole bunch of Colossus, since Griff is keeping up with a pretty sturdy army. If you look now at the army supply, it's only a little bit outnumbered by Mimir, but the problem there is that Mimir's coming in with just a +1 attack? Yeah, +1 attack, and does finally spot that down there, but here is +2 attack is on the way. Oh, there we go, extended thermal lance. So where was that? Why can't I see it? Oh, there it is. It was down there. I'm an idiot. 2 scans being used right there for Mimir, trying to figure out where the armies are. So if you look now at Mimir, he knows roughly, he knows pretty much exactly where Griff is, but Mimir just walked his army straight under this, so Griff knows exactly what's coming, even. Extended thermal lance is on the way. No... 1 Colossus, actually, so yeah, 2nd Colossus will be on the way in just a moment. If you look at that, is pretty similar in the army supply front. +2 is going to finish by the time Mimir finally gets off his duff and gets in here. He's going to scan on himself and then try to do a huge drop with not quite everybody in there, and then everyone's getting a little bit scatterbrained. Here's another, there's a 5th one on the way. So, getting just ever so slightly confused. Nothing over here as far as defense for Griff. He's got 1 cannon in there. And what Mimir's going to do is also move in his troops from the side. He's dropping right up here on the high ground, just at the very edge. So he's actually just vaguely outside of range, but Griff does see that on his mini-map, and he warps in. Only 3 Stalkers, that's all he's got. He's got to move up to the Mothership Core, and there's the Photon Overcharge. Got a number of units in here, so here's just a few Stalkers, about 7 or 8, and they are actually up here far enough. He is going to take out, like, an Assimilator, but that's not a big deal. Here come the remainder of the army, so this was just a Photon Overcharge, was to move the lines a little bit, and just to delay him ever so slightly. And if he can move the Stalkers in there, then he can pick off all of these guys, because Mimir doesn't seem to be boosting out of there. Does get his entire army together. No, wait, there's a couple still left over here. But luckily, this isn't really a bad one to lose. But this one would be a bad one to lose. So he is losing a couple of workers right here to this. He's not only just 2 workers killed, so that's not so bad. Moves this army back down again. Mimir is having a hard time with timing and really should be moving in once again, but this base is just not all that lucrative right now for Griff, and he was getting ready to move down to the 3rd base, which really, he wishes it would have happened by now, because this drop right here in the middle again is probably, it's almost all of Mimir's army right now, and just nothing is kind of defending this, but the medevacs are making this quite a huge attack, but I think this is still, did anything survive out of this? Yeah, there's only 4 Marines left, so they did get taken out. Photon overcharge did manage to take out most of that, and now there's very little of an army left here. The Guardian Shields will probably not go awry. There's the Guardian Shield, pops out on that. The Immortal sitting in the back, doing really well up against these Marauders, and the Stalkers are putting a huge amount of damage down on this. I don't know that there's much left. No, there is absolutely nothing left of an army up here for Mimir up in Griff's base. So all of the army is still trying to get their way back down in this direction. So only a couple of Marauders left down here in Mimir's main base, and with the base trade, Griff manages to get away with that, because mostly what Mimir had down there in Griff's base were medevacs, and Griff was able to just get around that entire thing. It does put down this force field, which I don't fully agree with, but now all of this command center does get rescued. That was a really good maneuver there by Mimir. Now what Griff would like is probably a hallucinated Colossus, hallucinated anything, so that he can see a little bit of high ground, move his way up this force field. While I did understand that he was trying to stop the troops from coming down the stairs, it's just too... What you really want to do is try to get your way up the stairs. Now, Griff does have a couple of warp-ins available to him right now, but this did not bring a forward pylon, so this game may continue for a little bit longer. So now what Mimir can do is he actually managed to salvage this entire orbital command. And look, here's the thing. This was Mimir's strategy the entire time, was to mine enough gas and not use any gas for anything, so that you can just repair, repair, repair. Look at all the energy on this orbital command, and just only scan. So why isn't he winning this race? The income is just hugely in that guy Griff's favor, because there's no minerals left here to get. But here, there we go. Here come all the workers down here once again. Griff slowly taking his way towards the 3rd base, also getting a +3. More Colossus on the way, so just rebuilding the army. The army is still, it's remarkably similar, but very, very soon, once this 3rd base gets up and running, Griff is going to be way out in front as far as income and ability to generate more and more and more of an army. For whatever reason, Mimir is still farming, and oh no, he wasn't farming off of all of his gas, so he didn't take that one, but there is the 3rd base on its way right now for Mimir. Griff getting a 2nd robotics facility so that he can pump out those Colossus even faster, realizing that he's pretty much up against Bio, but with a number of Stalkers supporting that Bio, even though he does have charge. Oh, he does have charge and blink. There's a warp prism on the way that he can support them from the ground, shooting upwards because of the Vikings going up against the Colossus, and he's really only got Zealots and Immortals and Tickle Beams, and those just aren't going to do it. Mimir getting a little bit confused as to where he's driving. He got a little lost on the way out the door. Couldn't remember where he put his keys. Couldn't remember that he left all the debris on the ramp. Oh, did I leave the debris on the ramp? Oh, did I leave the oven on? The oven's on, right? Let's have a look at the edge of the map here. Nope. Yep, we left the oven on. That's cool. So, Griff still does have this observer over here, and it'd be kind of nice to see this observer maybe wander around, go have a look over here. No, look, he's got some of this. Oh, look, he's mostly on Bio. That's great. But he probably already knew that. But actually, again, if you look at Griff's view, he's not fully aware of what is going on in Mimir's base, at least of the tech. The only look into the tech that he's got is that Mimir just keeps showing up at his base with a couple of medevacs, and honestly, Mimir could be moving up, could be checking up. I was looking at that spot because that's where I think the Warp Prism is going to go. He could be at this point checking up 2 battle cruisers or, you know, mass ravens, but I think he's probably just not worried about that at all. So here's the main army right now, still pretty on par. Mimir with too many supply depots, I think, for what he's actually planning on doing. So perhaps just, you really want to ramp up your supply with your number of troops at the same time, because otherwise, I mean, you could be spending 400 minerals on some additional supply that you don't need, and that's like what, 8 Marines you could be building at the same time. So there's another drop on its way. Did manage to move his way in there, did get a really hot scan there, so now Mimir's plan is to go around. You just scan that, are you serious? Alright, so he's gonna leave, half of his army here. The Vikings to take care of some Colossus. He's scanning just absolutely everywhere. Knows that he's not going to fall in under here, so Griff's now trying to figure out where to put his army. Can't quite split things up. Does not need to worry too much about this. There's only tech. There's only gateways up here. With this split in the army, Griff is really just going to be able to completely destroy this army down here. Get a couple more gateways in. This base is lost. It's not a big deal, because Griff essentially has 3-3. So the only thing that it's really going to do is kind of a pain is it's going to supply block him if Mimir gets in here and just continually destroys a bunch of pylons. So there's a bit of a pain just there. But here comes one single Colossus is coming up here and a couple more units with Mimir's pretty strong. At the same time, Griff is moving in, and he's dropped in here with the War Prism. This is exactly where I was actually expecting it to go. Mimir's moving in his front troops. Griff did need a good number of troops back here, so yes, the Vikings are taking out the Colossus, but there's a whole bunch more ground troops, and all these stalkers need to blink over here, and hopefully they can do something about this. And oh yes, Mimir did pack them into the medevacs, but Mimir forgot to move the medevacs away. And that's when he calls the GG, because he realizes that he just lost all of his army right there once again. There is the EPM right there. It's a 48 average EPM game for that guy, Griff, which seems a bit interesting. There's the APM of 61. Makes you feel a lot better about yourself. Leave me a comment down below. Send me an email, ziggityzig@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at ziggityzig. Stay tuned for more Tales from the Ladder. Send me a funny, interesting, cool, weird, wackadoodle replay that you've got, and I will try to put it on the channel. Stay tuned.